I'm happy to have, I'm very proud to have the experts sitting next and opposite of me, but anyway, on this podium. And I'll give them a quick minute to introduce themselves. So, Pascal, if I may ask you to start.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. Hello, everybody. Happy to meet you. I'm Pascal Fallet. I'm heading Europe connectivity activities within Eutelsat, based near Paris. Quickly, Eutelsat, for those who are not aware, we are the European company and the only company in the world to have actually two constellations, one historical geo constellation, but also the only competitor to Starlink with a constellation called OneWeb. We are the only one, the only European, and we will remain the only European for years to come, but we will cover that later.
Okay, thank you. Eduardo?
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Eduardo. I am working in Meo Wholesale Solutions here in Portugal. The only company here in Portugal that deals with three specific businesses for this ecosystem that we are launching: satellites, submarine cables, and data centers. I'm responsible for the increase of the business of the teleport that we have in Sintra. Is one of the largest ones here in Peninsula, and we operating also other teleports around the country that receive several services.
Okay, thank you, Eduardo. Miguel?
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I sit here a bit in a peculiar situation right now.
Tell us.
Because when you guys invited me, I had a different hat than I have today. I used to wear a hat where I was a competitor of Pascal and a partner of Mio.
And now?
As of 9 a.m. today, I wear a completely different hat with Thales.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how am I supposed to talk here, okay? I will bring my experience as leading all the ground segment in Africa, Europe, and Middle East, more focused on a Mio, also a European constellation, not only OneWeb, and also bring in now my role as a Thales, leading all the space and the ground segment, having the second only teleport here in Portugal, more focused on space exploration and science, but also doing some connectivity, and our partner, no longer a client, but a partner of Mio.
Okay, thank you so much. And everybody's sitting here as an expert in their fields. So
I'm no expert.
we'll make you one then. Just 45 minutes and we're done. Right, Pascal?
Absolutely.
All right, Pascal, if I may start with you. What's the strategic importance of satellite teleports and cable landing stations in the global network topology? Why is it so important? I know it's...
Okay. No, it's a very simple question. No teleport, no SNP, no connectivity on the ground. We are not covering part of the world. It's very simple. You know, this second constellation we've got, which is OneWeb, the Leo one, is covering the world today. We've got all satellites in the sky, but we have two SNPs that are not yet deployed. So there are two parts of the world that we are not yet covering. So they are absolutely critical. Without these critical infrastructures, you can have as many satellites in the sky you won't deliver the service on the ground. So it's 100% essential. And with what we're living today in this world, if you don't have multiple fibers, if you don't have redundancy, if you don't have the highest quality of service, then you're nowhere. And again, the importance of the geopolitical, strategical location of these teleports are also very key. So totally essential when we speak about satellite. Everybody look into the sky. I can tell you that when we are in a company like Eutelsat, we need to be very, very, very much boots on the ground and make the thing happen because it's happening here, not in the sky.
Okay, thank you. Eduardo, can you cover why satellite teleports are critical hubs and what role do operators and infrastructure owners play? Mouthful, I know.
Yeah, for this approach of the importance of the teleports and the satellite of the business, I will take the first speech that we had in this conference that was by the shared lady of Anacom. And if
Sandra.
satellite, and if you noted, the word that he mentioned more was resilience. She talked. I tried to count, but it was more than 10 times she
For sure.
saying resilience, because here in Portugal we make 1 year right now have the experience of lack of resilience in our country, in our peninsula. And after that, with the Christina storm, we show to everyone the importance of the satellite connectivity, of having connectivity. This ecosystem that we are creating around not only the submarine cables, but all that complements this infrastructure is essential to the model that the countries need to have to create a more resilient and economical country. That is important.
Okay. You want to add something to it?
Yeah, I'd like to tell a small story to try and emphasize the importance of a teleport. A couple of years ago, somewhere in West Africa, a certain country that I will not say was in an election process. And the competitor country, if you want, that had fiber running through it, decided to cut access to this country. Basically, isolating the country, cutting all the communications of the country. If it was not for the fact that a certain company that I can no longer talk about had recently installed the teleport in the country and was actually able to reroute some of the needed traffic through that teleport over satellite to different region of the globe that was not under threat. So this points out satellite teleports are, if you want, agnostic to some level of politics. They can cross borders without influencing the infrastructure on the ground. So this is, for me, what the importance of a teleport that brings what Pascal was saying. It converts raw bandwidth that is on the sky into actually terrestrial connectivity without having to rely on a lot of terrestrial infrastructure. Of course, teleports without fiber do not work.
Okay. Eduardo, what worries you? What's on your mind?
My worries as part of a company that deals with these three great pillars of this ecosystem that are submarine cables, data centers, and satellites. At this moment, our worries is geopolitical situation. We are seeing some threats to the submarine cables. We are facing something that we don't know when will happen, but we know that will happen something. Geopolitical, maybe some event, natural, from catastrophic event that maybe can happen. That is worries us as a company. And to mitigate that, we are trying to create solutions that passing obligatorily by the satellites, by the service provided to the satellite. And that this concern is not only from our side, it's from our customer side, because with these past events, they open their eyes and are looking for more and more solutions, resilient solutions. Again, resilience is the topic. Other concern from our point of view, it's related with the European sovereignty. We are more and more depending of networks that are not from Genesis, from Europe. Fortunately, we have OneWeb that is it's one of our biggest customers here in Portugal, and we are counting with them to put us in a situation that we will not be so worried with this, because they are a European country, they are working with us, they are confident, they are trying to be on board with us and with other countries to offer the services to this European community that needs so much this kind of solutions with a European genesis. This is our main concern.
Okay, please.
No, it's well, very good remark on this. And if I can piggyback, it's the coincidence is very funny around this panel, if I may. Meo is actually the company delivering the service for our teleport in Sintra in Portugal, but it's also one of my customer here in Portugal. Thales is actually one of my suppliers for satellite and some part of my network. And they are also one of my customer in 2 stages. They resell my capacity, but they also have this activity where they install my devices on vehicle and equipment for the French army. So it's very interesting to see.
We also have a teleport if you want.
Maybe not in Sintra then. You got a good open to offers, but no, we've got the right partner on this one here. But thank you for mentioning. No, but and the other fun fact is for all the panels you've heard a lot. There is a lot of activities over Africa and over the rest of the world. But you've got around this panel some of the 3 key European players dealing with this activity. So when Eduardo is mentioning the resiliency and sovereignty, it really means a lot to us. And it's absolutely crucial. I think people know what has happened. Now it's public domain, but somebody have decided a couple of months ago to switch off the service on the eastern border of a country at war. We were happy to jump in and to make it happen. We are not under the control of anybody outside that can decide from one day to the other to cut service. And the trust that needs to happen between the European players to build this resiliency, sovereignty is absolutely key. But on top of that, Eduardo was very clear. What we also need is diversity. For many years, there was this kind of competition. Fiber is replacing all of the things, or a satellite is there replacing. No. You need all the technological solutions together to ensure this resiliency. And what has happened in the world with fiber cuts or with disaster have just proved that the solution is not one, it's all solutions that need to be deployed. And that's where you need the partners like Meo and Thales with their knowledge on integration, their knowledge as a telecom operator to provide that within the countries where they operate.
Okay, thank you. Looking at a bit of about the future of the satellite internet and the global broadband access, are we closing the digital divide with space-based internet? I mean, the adoption of it and a seamless handover progressing. I mean, with other words, are the LEO networks taking over? Is that what we're seeing? Anyone on the gentleman?
LEO is definitively ramping up.
Is
ramping up massively.
Yes.
I mean, we've got more and more demand. The lower latency offers additional new services and additional potential. Now, GEO is not dead. It still delivers everywhere across the planet, still works, but yes, there is an ease of use, there is an ease of installation. The hardware is far less expensive than GEO, so of course, it opens new fields, new possibilities, especially for backup. Mobility is a nicer solution for mobility, so it's an absolute must. So it is indeed helping to close some of the gaps and some of the gap that were maybe existing also between when we speak about other kind of connectivity, 4G, 5Gs, and then the GEO. So the LEO is just right where people were expecting it. And again, in full complementarity with all the other solutions that we can have on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Pascal. LEO, it's an important player in space nowadays, but it's not alone. It's not an answer for everything. It makes part of an ecosystem, of a multi-orbit ecosystem, LEO, MEO, and GEO, each with their advantages. Of course, LEO with their low latency is ideal for internet applications, but it does it does suffer to some extent of low coverage and high complexity. I'm not saying which one is best. There's no best. They all work together to provide
They
something.
all have their position, literally, right?
Exactly, exactly. So Leo is not here to replace anyone or anything. It's here to complement and improve user experience and drive cost down. That's the big benefit of this new ecosystem that we're seeing. Now, this Leo, it's the ramp up, like Pascal was saying, is the big thing now. But we must remember that closing the divide and access and providing connectivity to remote areas, to maritime services, to airplanes did not start with Leo. It's been going on for a very long time. What Leo is doing is really, like I said, is lowering cost to a point that it can go out in mass to the market and make it more reliable to everyone. OneWeb, as a European player, they of course face a big challenge with someone with very deep pockets that is able to play a not so fair competition in the market. And that's why I agree with Pascal that European Union, the European companies need to come together to create something important, something. I know Europe is complex and we are already working through it with IRIS², where OneWeb plays a key and important role. But maybe we're still not there. There's still a lot to do. And we as satellites cannot, again, we cannot live alone. Satellite alone does not work. We need the carrier community to help us, the fiber part, the landing stations, the data centers, everyone as an ecosystem, a European ecosystem, to be able to drive through our position, let's say.
Okay, cool. Looking at the interoperability and the multi-network integration and ecosystem collaboration, what can you share with the audience about the interoperability between all the networks, the integration of satellite networks with the cloud platforms, and edge data centers? Also, what role do data centers play as convergence points for satellite and terrestrial connectivity? So those are 65 questions. Eduardo? Start with the first.
Yeah, this in taking in what Miguel said, this is an ecosystem that cannot live by their own in pieces. In some years ago, and I have more than 10 years in this business to be
You're a youngster.
yeah, I'm very young, and I assist to the death of the satellite. Everyone's saying, oh, with the fiber now, it is now, the fiber will make everything. But the fiber don't do anything, don't do all of things.
Look, listen to the example that
Yeah, that's it.
Miguel just
That's
said.
it. And there is, for instance, only one example that fiber don't. It's essential, but it's not enough. Broadcasting. Broadcasting. The geo satellites are, and still, a very essential asset. But in the future, we will assist an interoperability of the satellites between these three networks, GEO, MEO, and LEO. And more, we will establish this ecosystem that now it's an ecosystem established between the ground and the satellites. But in the near future, we will have also data centers in the sky using satellites. The processing of the information will not be only down here
On Earth.
in Earth, in the data centers, but they will start also to be done directly in the sky, increasing the operation of these networks. I don't know if I have here, I can say this because I have a meeting this morning, and I have the good news of I was talking with George yesterday about the possibility of have a X in the satellite. I know this morning that is already one working in this, all this making this the X that we know here in the terrestrial mean in our network. They are working already in the satellite network. So this integration, this interoperability, it's now that happening now, and it will increase more and more. And there is something that will push this to a new phase, that is the direct to device that will come quickly and will appears here in our terrestrial world. In, I believe during this year we will have very good news about this.
Okay. We good?
Yeah, if I may, I just want to launch a bit of a paradigm into the question that is, in this new era of new space, your data centers are actually becoming satellites, right? Data centers are going up into space. This brings the teleports even more into the picture, right? How do you communicate? Are you going to run a fiber all the way to space? How do you
Roll it off.
There you go.
Okay. Pascal?
No, but I mean, we can have the best connectivity in the world. If there's nothing to transfer on this network, there is nothing to do. And you can have the best data center in the world. If it's not connected anywhere, then it's useless. So it's just pure complementarity. One cannot exist without the other. And wherever is the data center, again, looping back to what Miguel was saying, if you don't have anything on the ground at one stage, fine. But for sure, we will need things on the ground, and we need this mesh, we need this network. Now, we have the chance again in Europe to have people, best telecom operators in the world, best integrators, best companies to deliver that. So we have this chance where we are not yet capitalized. And that's where you were mentioning the project IRIS². IRIS² is a complex project. For those who are married, when you come back home and you need to make a decision with your wife or husband or whatever, you know it's already complex when you're 2. When you're 27, makes life a bit more difficult.
Pascal, I'm just thinking to have 27 wives. Oh.
No, not even in some countries you cannot.
No,
I will not recommend.
Exactly.
It's
No.
I'm already struggling with why one will never consider another.
He's listening.
She is
listening.
So it's complex. The project IRIS² may not look like the way it has been dreamt or thought initially a few years ago, but it will happen. It will happen because it's a must for Europe and its resiliency.
Yeah, is it the solution for Europe?
It is for sure a solution for Europe. Is it the only solution? We know that some other countries are also wishing to have their own. But that's where also IRIS² is key. Each and every country by itself is good, but we also know when you're united, you're stronger. And Europe has always been strong over all these, just for those who are fond of history, Europe has never known from its whole history, since the man has become on Earth, a peace as long as we know today in Western Europe. And we see that it's already at the border. So that's why the European unity and the unity of countries working together on such important project to create this resiliency, to create this security, to create these capacities to, I'm not saying fight, but to resist to whatever is going to happen around is key. It doesn't change. I mean, countries can freely equip themselves, and they will, and it's good. It's good for our economy. It's good for the French economy. It's good for the German economy, for the Portuguese economy to have their own solution and develop. But it's even better when we have joint solution at the whole European level. So that's why these kind of projects are key. Yes.
Okay. Looking at new challenges for, let's say, the old stakeholders. What's the impact when new entrants arrive for those old stakeholders? And will we see new and/or, let's say, adjusted business models and ecosystem evolutions? Eduardo, I'm looking at you.
I can start with this because
Give you always the 5 or 6 questions in one shot, right?
I know, but the challenge for the old stakeholders, and Mio is a old stakeholder because we former the incumbent here in Portugal, and we're running teleports for more than 50 years. At least this year we'll make 52 years that we put the first antenna in our teleport here. And the challenges today are different. The challenges are technological different. Are the new players in this sector with Miguel, as said, with deep pockets that can do anything. And the business model is different. In the old times, there is a consortium of satellite operators that working together to provide connectivity. I remember that we belong to the board of Intelsat, and that is something, the range between the partners that was working together to serve several countries at the same time. Today, we have players that are serving all the countries in the world in only one management. And that brings new challenge to the old stakeholders. That is, we cannot fight against them because they are too big. Maybe we can cooperate with them, but without leave our strategy of telecommunications operator.
Do they want to cooperate?
Oh, yeah, my God.
They have no chance. They have no chance.
I don't know if I agree with you because they have no chance, but they are building their own infrastructure and put away some operators and create some. It's difficult for some, that is very interesting because in certain ways they are creating the business and creating the awareness in the public and go directly to the end customer. That is very. We have here a challenge that is regulatory challenge that need to be, and there is only to go against this. There is something that Pascal said that is essential. That is cooperation between all of them. Pascal was saying about cooperation between the European states to get something to all of the countries, but we need also to cooperate between these countries to create, especially in Europe, regulation to have these services in a fair way.
But is it not also please go.
We are very technologically oriented. We are all geeks and we are looking at that. I'm going to give you one piece of advice, but Eduardo was touching on it quickly, so I may dig a bit more. Read the small lines at the bottom of the contracts you're signing with some companies, please. Read them carefully. Such as the contract is valid only for 1 year. And after 1 year, I can decide to do whatever I want with it, including to go directly to the customer you were introducing me to and signing the contract. That exists. What I'm just quoting is existing on, and I'm not mentioning the company, but I can confirm this is not in Eutelsat contracts. No way we can have that. In the same extent, we are speaking about the data center and data. We are not using the data that are traveling over our network for any AI training. Same thing, respect of the customer, respect of the end customer, respect of each and everybody working on these activities. It's funny because we have a very protective European regulation that seems not that effective in this when you look at those little lines at the end. But please, for all of you that are users and customers, look at them carefully so you can understand a bit what can happen to you.
But why don't we have then any disruptors in Europe?
May I just add something here to
Please,
ask
go.
Pascal? What about that small line that says no service, no SLA? So no, they do not guarantee you the service. You pay for it, you may get it, or
And you sign for it and you pay for it.
you get it at best effort. That also is not on OneWeb, I'm sure.
No.
No.
Uh,
You're not allowed.
we do have services that are very inexpensive and don't have an SLA, but yes, we can commit. That's the difference. We can make commitments. We can, but it's also coming from the fact that again we are working a lot with companies like Meo, who needs to think long term and not only on a reactive short-termistic mode. We work with governments that need to plan for their future. So you need to be able to give the trust and sign multi-year contracts where you keep your commitments, where you can only show improvement. So that's exactly why, yes, we are working like this. But again, Thales and Meo know that by heart because they are the ones that are traditionally with us signing the contract with the end customer. So they take the same commitment and we're all united to deliver this.
Yeah, but the disruptor, let me throw this curveball. The disruptor would say, yeah, but you see, that's exactly why they give you 3 to 5 year contracts. And with us, you're only with 1 year.
But it's, again, the total freedom is in the end of the customer. If the customer wants this flexibility, he can have it. We can have the contract, let's revise every year, SLAs, and see where we stand. Being disruptive is, do I bring something or such a technology that is giving you a very big advantage at a very advantageous price?
Yeah.
The reality is, indeed, on the Leo world, we were there. This other company has arrived. They were bringing new usages, and we are benefiting from that. Because they were creating, as Miguel was saying, they were creating new usages that people were not considering before. And it's good. It's good for us. I mean, competition is good. It's positive. It brings additional technologies. It helps to maintain a price that is accessible for everybody. Now, on the opposite, who said deep pockets? Which one? Yeah.
Miguel?
So, yeah, we may face unfair competition. It happens also. So we need to be vigilant. We are doing our best, but we cannot sometimes fight with the right weapons. So that's also why being understanding on the overall responsibility and all this additional thing behind technology and a pure price tag is important.
Okay. Anything to add, Eduardo?
No, I think Pascal has said everything, saying competition is essential. Because if we live in the hands of one player with the huge power, he can do anything, especially no commit. That is what concerns us. Because in the end of the day, we are facing some customers, and us as operator, we need to go to our customer and get the commit from our side, not from the side that is supplying the service to us. And that is a risk for our business and for our relation with the customer. We need to have commit, and because of that, we need to try to trust in companies that cooperate with us, work with us, and be our real partners in this business to offer the best service to end customer. That is the key on this.
In a fair way.
In a fair way. In a fair way. Yeah. That's it.
Josh?
First of all, that's what the partner.
Better.
Carmencito, very
Eh?
You're getting better.
I'm getting better, huh? Give me another 2 days.
I'm okay here. I've been there for a while now. I'm almost a decorative object here in for SIS. But what I wanted to say was that's what a partnership truly means: is that you have trust. You know how to deal with the other partner. You know how to bring value to the table, and that's a long-term relationship. Regarding what you said about it's just a 1-year contract, I don't get stuck with you. Something happened in Portugal, I would say 2 years ago, or 3 years, I don't remember now, probably 3 years ago, where the regulator decided that telecom providers should provide a service with no fixed term. What happened then was that the telecom operators, all of them, for those offers, they needed to raise the monthly price. But also, instead of a customer having a no NRC on the setup, they began to have that, because there are equipments that needs to be deployed. There is fiber that needs to get to the home. There is investment that you need to put on BTSs for mobile, blah, blah, plus margin, of course. Let's say content contracts that we need to have for TV, etc. So the catch was there. If you don't have a term, you'll get a different type of service. Either it's more expensive, or either there are no free lunches, and I'll get your data, and I won't commit with any SLA and whatever. Some of the things that were already mentioned on the panel. So there is a catch. There are no free lunches, and so we need to keep that in mind.
And it's a fair proposal in that sense.
As long as it is clear, it's
Yes,
fair.
Exactly.
If it is not clear, and if it's written on small letters,
Very, very small.
and if it is
Even with my binoculars on my head, I could not even read those.
if you have a geopolitical decision regarding providing service or not, which is not written on the contract, then it's not fair anymore.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Okay, satellite connectivity in a converged digital ecosystem. I think we touched quickly on some submatter subjects. Gentlemen, if I may ask you for the audience to a takeaway, what should they think of? What should they think on, over, whatever? What message do you want to give to the audience?
I'll start, if you don't mind.
Please.
My takeaway is going to focus on IRIS². I know Pascal doesn't want me to talk about IRIS², but I'll talk about IRIS². IRIS² is not a why project. It's not why are we doing this? Do we need it? Do we need it to compete with a certain country? Let's look at this to what we saw in Ukraine a couple of years ago. A country without communication, or in this case, a region without communication, is lost. Okay? And let's go back in history about 20 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm young, so most of you know better than I do, but probably remember. There was a certain war in the Middle East, and a certain president of a certain country decided that he was going to cut global positioning systems to everyone. That left Europe in chaos. Europe was in a total chaos. And out of that, Europe came together and they created what is called the Galileo system. Okay? It's an independent system controlled by Europe. Nobody's going to cut it. Nobody's going to shut down global positioning for Europe. Nowadays, Europe is facing exactly the same challenge. And we saw that with Ukraine. Some person on the other side of the pond, as they say, decided to order the cut of communication, and the country was left in chaos. Do we in Europe want to face that? Maybe not. I don't. So IRIS² IRIS² is not a LEO constellation. IRIS² is a multi-orbit constellation focused on LEO, MEO, and with some GEO support as well. Okay? It takes advantage of the LEO low latency and the MEO broader coverage, simplicity, and resilience. And by having this constellation that is fully under our control, we have the ability to have sovereign data. We have control of our data, of our communication, and this is highly important for government and military applications. It's highly important for the security of everyone that is in this room. So IRIS² is not, do we need it? No, IRIS² is a must. And all of us, including MEO, Thales as a manufacturer, MEO as a service provider, OneWeb as a constellation owner, all of us, we need to come together to, let's call it, fight this unfair competition from other regions of the globe.
If
Okay.
I
Pascal?
can continue. It's not that I didn't want to speak about IRIS². IRIS² is very instrumental. If I want to give some takeaways, I think you heard the word several times. It's resiliency, sovereignty, diversity. That's 3 key words, please. If you need to put that back with hashtag in any of your posts, do it. And in that extent, IRIS² is designed to be such kind of solution. But why I wanted to speak a bit less about this one? Because today, already here, you've got the solution, European solution that do already exist and that are available today to answer this question. So again, this IRIS² project is this European and more military, governmental driven, and absolutely needed. That's a no-brainer. But we already have all the solutions available today to fit with the existing requirements, including some that were mentioned by Miguel, again, on some fronts, but let's speak about peaceful time, maritime mobility, aero mobility, trains, all over Europe. They are the solution that we can already all together around this table bring to the market and to the end customers. So we have that today, but please, so sovereignty, resiliency, diversity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Eduardo?
Sometimes in Europe, we feel this, that when we stay well in our life and with no threats, with nothing that disturbs us, we start not making exercise, stay at the sofa, growing.
I like my couch.
I know. I also, but our belly start to grow. We start to stay very comfortable because we don't feel the need to do anything because we are okay. So, and I am happy to see something that comes from this the best panel of this conference.
Of course.
No, I don't have any doubts because we sold off all the tickets for this.
I can tell you, we're going already viral,
I know. And there is something that comes from all of these perspectives, that this movement with IRIS², it's a need from Europe. It's something that was pushed because Europe, it's a old and fat guy that, okay, someone is providing service to us. We are here only to live the good life. Okay, no one's need to.
It's called arrogance.
It's called arrogance, yeah. And in the moments that we need to speed up the process, the way is getting together and cooperate. This is the key word for all of this conversation between us. And I think it's very important from the 3 of us that we are here in different perspectives, but in the same sector, it's cooperate. And I believe in the same will happen in Europe with several companies in the several states. It will be difficult because Pascal said something that is very complicated. 27 states with the different interests, but this need to be solved for the good of Europe, because if we don't do anything, someone will do that.
So let's get it done.
Yeah.
Miguel?
Just one last word. I want to quote a good friend that is sitting here next to my right. He said, "We are too small to be fighting each other. We need to cooperate to grow and fight others."
And with those words, I'm going to close this panel. Thank you so much to my panelists. Thank you, audience. I thank the people.